What if I told you the most chaotic startup brawl in Silicon Valley? History started with one guy trying to send money through a Palm Pilot, and another guy who proudly named his finance company like it belonged in an adult pop-up ad. Welcome to the late 1990s. The internet is exploding. Silicon Valley feels less like a place and more like a casino with beanbags. Venture capitalists are throwing money at anything with a .com at the end. You don't need revenue. You don't need customers. You barely need an idea. What's your startup? Hamsterhub.com.
What does it do?
Nothing yet? Fantastic. Here's 50 million. Everyone agrees the internet is the future, even though nobody can explain what that future actually looks like. But there's one massive problem. Online payments are terrible. Typing your credit card number into a website feels like whispering your life savings into a dark alley. Fraud is everywhere. Banks are slow, outdated, and still acting like it's 1973. Want to split a pizza? Better have cash. Whoever solves online payments won't just make money. They'll become money. And two startups are about to collide. First contender, XCOM. At the center is a 28-year-old chaos engine named Elon Musk. Fresh off selling his previous company for about $300 million. Most people would relax. Elon decides to reinvent finance. Banking, investing, insurance. One platform. And we'll call it XCOM. That sounds like a porn site. Exactly. Elon pours roughly $12 million of his own money into the project. The vision is massive. The technology, not quite there. Engineers are sprinting to keep up with ideas that seem to arrive faster than the code can compile. Tension builds. Meanwhile, across town, a very different team is forming. Peter Thiel, a Stanford-trained contrarian thinker, teams up with Max Levchin, a cryptography genius with a keyboard and trust issues. Their startup is called Confinity, and their first idea is strange, sending money between Palm Pilots. Yes, those chunky gray gadgets carried exclusively by consultants and people who say actually a lot. It's niche, painfully niche. The idea doesn't take off, but then they pivot. What if people could send money by email? Suddenly everything clicks. No banks, no checks, no awkward handoffs in parking lots. Just send. For the first time, paying someone online feels easy, and people love it. Now Silicon Valley has a problem. Two startups. Same goal, opposite personalities. One driven by a single dominant founder with a grand vision of money itself. The other powered by engineers quietly solving a very real pain point. Neither plans to back down, and very soon this rivalry won't just be about products. It'll be about control, ego, and survival. Because when these two companies collide, someone's getting kicked out of their own startup. Word spreads faster than a viral GIF. Confinity's user base starts exploding. Email payments spread across eBay like wildfire. Two companies are now sprinting toward the same prize. XCOM, fast, loud, chaotic. Confinity, quiet, precise, obsessively secure. Both want to own the future of money. Neither is making a profit. Both are burning cash like it's kindling. By early 2000, Silicon Valley isn't watching a startup rivalry. It's watching a street fight. They copy each other's features. They target the same users. They bleed money trying to win eBay sellers one click at a time. If this continues, both companies could collapse. So they choose the unthinkable. They merge. On paper, it's a partnership. In reality, it's a Game of Thrones situation with fewer dragons and more spreadsheets. Elon Musk becomes CEO. The XCOM name survives. And Elon's ambitions remain expansive. Banking, insurance, investing, everything. And maybe jetpacks later. Meanwhile, engineers are still trying to get a password reset emails to work. Reality begins throwing elbows. Then comes the breaking point. Elon announces a major decision. We're moving the entire payment system from Unix to Windows NT. The room freezes. You want to run global financial infrastructures on Windows NT? At the time, Windows NT was unstable, crash-prone, and famous for blue screens of death. To the engineers, this felt like performing open-heart surgery with kitchen utensils. The Confinity veterans push back hard. They beg. They simulate. They warn. This system isn't ready. One mistake and everything collapses. We've followed you through chaos, but this will destroy us. Elon doesn't budge. Vision beats caution. Then in September 2000, Elon leaves for his honeymoon in South Africa. And while he's gone, the knives come out. Peter Thiel, Max Levchin, senior engineers. They approached the board with a simple message. If we don't to remove the CEO now, the company may not survive. The board listens. The vote passes. When Elon Musk lands back in the US, he's no longer CEO of his own company. The coup is complete. And here's the irony. The company survives. The Windows migration is scrapped. The focus narrows. One product, one mission, email payments. Soon they drop the XCOM name entirely. They choose a new one, PayPal. And the startup that almost tore itself apart is about to change the internet forever. And just like that, and while Elon was still mid-vacation, the board removed him as CEO. When Musk found out, he was furious. But here's the twist, he didn't walk away. Instead, Elon stayed on as the largest shareholder and a board member. Despite everything, he still believed the company would succeed. Leadership passed to Peter Thiel, and something unexpected happened. The chaos slowed. Instead of trying to rebuild the entire financial system overnight, PayPal narrowed its focus. One problem, one product, email payments, especially for eBay sellers who desperately needed a fast, simple way to get paid. With clearer direction and fewer internal explosions, growth took off. The name PayPal started spreading across the internet like a password everyone suddenly knew. But success came with a cost. Inside PayPal, hiring wasn't about resumes. Degrees didn't matter, pedigree didn't matter. Only one question did: can you survive here? Interviews felt less like interviews and more like stress tests. Design a real-time fraud detection system. Now scale it globally. Now do it in 10 days. Can I at least know who you are? No. Every role was mission critical. Even interns carried responsibility that would terrify most managers. The unofficial culture was simple. Disagree loudly. Argue hard. Be right. Meetings weren't polite. They were verbal cage matches. If your idea survived the room, it deserved to live. A typical day looked like this. Wake up. Drink coffee. Write code. Fight fraud. Repeat. Why all the intensity? Because PayPal was under constant siege. Fraud rings wanted free money. eBay wanted control over payments. Governments wanted to understand what this strange internet money even was. And despite the pressure, people stayed. There was loyalty, the kind forged in shared chaos. The kind you only get when everyone's been through the same fires. PayPal wasn't a polished Silicon Valley success story. It was a pirate ship, crewed by brilliant misfits, sailing straight into storms. By late 2001, PayPal was finally winning, barely. But victory came with 3 massive boss fights. The first was fraud. PayPal's greatest strength, sending money instantly by email, also made it irresistible to scammers. Fake accounts, referral abuse, money laundering. Fraudsters piled in, draining bonuses and exploiting loopholes like professionals. For a while, it felt like PayPal wasn't running a payment network. It was running the world's most expensive experiment in digital crime. And this was only the beginning. Max Levchin and his engineering team were fighting a war in real time. Fraud wasn't slowing down, it was evolving. So they built a weapon. They called it Igor, an early homegrown AI system that watched behavior instead of just transactions. It noticed things humans would miss. Typing speed slightly off. Login at a strange hour. Patterns that didn't feel human. One signal meant nothing. 10 together meant, shut it down. Igor didn't care about excuses, it cared about math, and it worked. Most of PayPal's growth came from one place, eBay sellers, which was fantastic, until eBay noticed. PayPal wasn't just competing with eBay's payment system, it was beating it. eBay responded aggressively. They tweaked algorithms, made their own system bill point the default, tried to push PayPal off the platform entirely. Sellers pushed back. They trusted PayPal. They knew it worked, and they refused to switch. At one point, PayPal handled nearly 70% of eBay's transactions without being the official option. That's when everyone started paying attention, including the US government. Regulators couldn't figure out what PayPal even was. A bank? No, a money transmitter? Kind of. Gambling? Definitely not. Every agency wanted jurisdiction. Every state had rules. PayPal was hit with lawsuits, cease and desist letters, and regulatory threats. 26 legal challenges at the same time. Most startups would have collapsed. PayPal responded with speed. They licensed state by state, preempted complaints, spent heavily on compliance. Eventually, regulators did the unthinkable. They shrugged. Fine, close enough. By early 2002, PayPal was no longer just surviving. It was winning. They filed for an IPO. It wasn't huge, about $70 million, but symbolically it was massive. A startup launched during the dot-com bubble, survived the crash, fought fraud, fought governments, and went public in under 4 years. Then eBay returned, this time with a very different tone. So, what if we bought you? The offer, $1.5 billion in stock. PayPal said yes. The deal closed in July 2002, and overnight the team became rich. Peter Thiel walked away with about $55 million. Elon Musk made over $160 million. Max Levchin made enough to never worry about money again. And then something interesting happened. They didn't stay. They didn't become executives. They didn't settle into boardrooms. They left. Because they weren't done building. What came next wasn't a company, it was a movement, the PayPal Mafia. And Silicon Valley would never be the same again. The original team scattered, but not randomly. They weren't lost founders chasing exits. They became known as the PayPal Mafia, and for once the nickname actually fit. Elon Musk went from ousted CEO to launching rockets, building electric cars, experimenting with brain interfaces, digging tunnels, and eventually buying one of the world's loudest social platforms, simply because he could. Peter Thiel founded Palantir, a data company so powerful it made governments both depend on it and fear it. He also launched Founders Fund and turned a small early investment in Facebook into one of the most legendary venture wins in history. Reid Hoffman built LinkedIn, rewiring how professionals connect and quietly shaping modern networking culture. He later became one of the most thoughtful investors in Silicon Valley. Max Levchin went on to reshape consumer finance, helping popularize buy now, pay later, a system that changed how millions of people spend money online. Around them, their influence spread. YouTube, Airbnb, Facebook, Instagram. Some were founded directly by PayPal alumni. Others were funded, advised, or accelerated by them. Together, they didn't just build companies, they defined an era. And here's the irony. PayPal itself wasn't born from a perfect vision. It wasn't elegant. It wasn't even fully planned. It was a scrappy workaround for a broken internet, built fast, held together with caffeine, code, and constant argument. It was chaos. It was pressure. It was a group of brilliant misfits duct-taping the future together while fighting fraud, regulators, and each other. But PayPal proved something important. That small teams, armed with obsession, resilience, and just enough stubbornness, could survive near-death moments and still reshape the world afterward. The product was payments. The legacy was people. And the ripple effects of that one messy startup are still shaping technology today.